Good morning. Good morning. Today is October 19th, 2017, which, if you're counting, is my day 1.160, 1 year and 160 days, past the 5 month mark in the second year, working towards that 6 month mark, which 18 months seems to be the next milestone. So, just to put me in my place, where I am in time here. So, lots of good stuff today. Lots of good stuff today. First, I'd like to say that I had gotten an email. If you were a couple videos ago, I made a video about kind of how I was concerned about my dad. He was still dead naming me, and he'd sent me a card, and it was written in my dead name, and inside it was written in my dead name, and he had a birthday check, and it was written in my dead name, and I'm like going to the bank, and it's my dead name, it's a guy's name, and I'm not a guy. Uh, that was all old stuff. In the last email after his visit today, yesterday actually, he did send me an email, and it was addressed to Robin. It was addressed to me, proper me, Robin me, and I'm very, very thankful to that. Very, very thankful to that. There are a couple of other very steadfast dead namers out there, and at this point, that's their issue. It's not my problem. I'm not going to answer to my dead name, obviously, and whatnot. So, but again, as far as people that I interact with, my dad, my mom, we're all good. So that's kind of good. And again, milestone that it took a year and 5 months for that to happen. And so I just share that with someone maybe who is starting out or thinking about starting out or recently starting out. It may take a while before people come around, and don't. And I share that as a way. Don't get discouraged. Your life will continue, and you can succeed, and you'll make new friends, new friendships, new family relationships with people that are not in your biological family. You will make friends. It just takes time. So that's out of the way. I am beginning to forget who I was before. And let me explain that. There are times where if I don't look at myself in the mirror, okay, and all I have is this, single person view. If you play video games, single person, you're looking and maybe you see, your hands, but you don't see yourself. It's very easy for me somewhat to forget that I have transitioned. In other words, the pilot in the brain here is genderless, doesn't matter. And then I see myself in the mirror and I'm like, yeah, that's me. But I tried to imagine the way that I used to look, and I'm beginning to forget that. I'm beginning to forget those details, and hopefully it doesn't mean I'm having Alzheimer's or I have an issue with my brain. I just think it's gotten that far back in long-term memory. It just goes. It's on the peripheral, and it's like your house number of the house you went to middle school in, and you can kind of remember the street address, but not really. Kind of where it is. It's just like dissipating into the ether, and that I thought was kind of interesting. And I looked at myself in the mirror yesterday, and I'm like, I'm trying to remember, and obviously if I pull my hair back, because I always had short hair, and I take off my glasses, you can definitely see old ripples of that person. But my body really has changed, and I think my personality has changed. And the hormones have all the drugs has done their work. Not done yet. We still have lots of work to go. Still growing. I hope. Girls, grow. Yes, good. Positive thinking. But I just thought it was neat because I couldn't remember who I was. Visually, I'm starting to forget that. And I'm thinking, I had heard some people think of their old self somewhat as an old friend who died, or brother or sister who died. and you kind of remember them, you honor that memory, but it's not something in your daily, again, it just fades away. And I thought that was kind of neat. So I don't know if anyone else has a similar, if that ever happens to anybody else, but I thought that was kind of cool. And then the main point of the video for today is I'm calling it Charge the Last 40 Pounds. I have been hovering at 260. Sometimes I'm 261, sometimes I'm 262. I even go as high as 264. But I cannot seem to get below 260. I got to 258 one day last week. So after several days of just doing the same thing and doing the same thing, I just realized, okay, my body has gotten used to this. It's time to make a change. And so I will continue to live and eat as a vegan, which was the change I made last time. I stopped eating meat. I went for really nutritionally dense foods like kale, chard, turnip greens, mustard greens, lots of vegetables, and to get protein and different stuff, and totally cut out meat, cut out caffeine, sugar, etc., etc. I mean, I went to what I kind of would consider to be kind of a modern or a vegan, but not from a standpoint of not a belief system. Like I don't believe it's animal cruelty to eat animals. If I could eat buffalo wings, girl, I would be eating buffalo wings and drinking beer. Again, I love food. It's not an ethical reason for not eating meat. It's purely to lose weight. And so it was about 2 months ago that I stopped exercising after I read Penn Jillette's book Presto, which is based off the Ray Cronise potato diet. And he basically said, stop exercising. There's no point in exercising. You can't out-eat your mouth. You can't outrun your mouth. In other words, although some people's mouths run a lot, your no amount of exercise is going to counterbalance what you intake. If you intake crap, if you intake, let's say, fatty meat and whatnot, eating a bowl of ice cream and then walking for 30 minutes and thinking, I walked, I get to eat ice cream. No, that's bullshit. That's total crap. You cannot, anyway, that aside, so what I'm doing is I'm beginning to supplement my daily routine with walking. This morning I walked for 10 minutes, or actually I watched my last video, which is about 14 minutes, and I walked the treadmill in the lowest setting, and that way I will ease myself back into walking. It will not be, walk, and then hurt yourself, and then you're off for days while you recover, build up my stamina, and I just want to monitor it. Because if the Ray Cronise mindset is true, then exercising is going to be counterproductive to losing weight. So I'm going to monitor that. But I think in general, our bodies do get used to the status quo. They do adjust. And so maybe by shaking things up a little bit and creating a little more of a calorie deficit, I will spur my body into continuing to eat, continue to burn fat. And I'll use Squirtle here as an example. Since I switched over to the vegan, I'm not going to touch you inappropriately. Since I switched over to vegan, if you draw kind of an outline where my rib cage is, that has really seceded, that has really diminished. And so by comparison, if this is my breast on my chest, on my rib cage, and this is the tissue below the rib cage, this tissue has subsided. And so by comparison, my breasts seem to be sticking out more. I don't think my breasts have grown more. I just think the topography has changed. This has gone back, and so this stands a little more pronounced. That said, yes, I'm still a C cup. I feel a C. I'd like to be a D. I don't know any trans woman who says my breasts are too big. But you know, I'm hoping that as I continue, I want to develop those kind of lumpy, you know, saggy breasts somewhat, and maybe that just is going to take, you know, a little more hormone time, as well as if and when I have surgery, and we'll cut those gametes out, cut the testes out, and there won't be any more testosterone that I know of. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Stay tuned. So that really is all that I can think of. Don't know. So I guess I'll end it here. But again, I wanted to share some good news about my dad. And again, as a way, hopefully, of sharing and raise the roof, lifting people up. Again, you're not gonna, if you're transitioning for someone else's approval, I wouldn't do it personally. Transition for yourself, transition to be your authentic self. It's definitely a boon. It's icing on the cake if your friends and family love you and give you positive feedback. But I would say I've done this for myself, and I'm a much better person as myself, and now meeting other people as myself, as opposed to a false sense of self. But that's another video for another time. So I would say to anybody, again, look at it as a positive thing, and you're definitely going to winnow people who you think are your friends, and they're really not. But that's that. And then forgetting who I was. YouTuber had said, and I've said it before, the person you are at the end of your transition, or the letter end, may not be the person you were at the start. And I'm forgetting who that person was. And I think that's kind of interesting as the changes occur. And then the last thing is just changing up with exercise. And this is the last 40 pounds I have to lose. I have lost 65 pounds to date. I've lost 65 pounds since March, which would have been 7 months. In 7 months, I've lost 65 pounds. And so I just have to lose the remaining 40. And at this point, you know, if I believed in a devil, I'd make a pact with Satan. Unfortunately, I don't believe in Satan. I don't believe in devil. I don't know his number, his or her. Don't believe in it. It's a scapegoat, in my opinion. So it's really back up to me again to shake things up a little bit, whether that be exercise or whatnot. But I'm hoping the momentum will carry me through. I'm not a big fan of exercise. A couple of years ago, before I started hormones, I wanted to lose weight. And I think I lost 40 or 50 pounds just in that. And I was exercising 90 minutes a day, and I couldn't figure out, I'm not losing weight. And that's why the Ray Cronise thing really sold me on the fact that if you're exercising a lot to lose weight, it's counterproductive to actually losing weight. So I don't know. All right, my friends, that's it for today. Definitely positive thumbs up. Good luck to you in your journey, wherever you may be on your journey. And I will check in with you next time. Bye-bye.